Good morning, students. Welcome back to operating system class. I hope you all understood first unit 3 chapters, second unit first chapter, because today here I am going to start second unit second chapter. Okay, so the second unit second chapter, the title is deadlock. Okay, so what is a deadlock? What are the characteristics of the deadlock and how to prevent a deadlock, and what solutions you have, how to identify, how to solve the deadlock problem, that we'll discuss in this chapter. Okay, so before going into the actual definition of the deadlock, let me give a live example of this, real-time example I will give. Example, there is a signal on the road. Okay, and 4 sides are there. Example, this is a road and 4 sides are there. And this signal is, example, it is damaged and there is a technical problem in the signal. Example. So what happened? The vehicles are coming from this side, vehicles are coming from this side, and the vehicles are coming from this side, and the vehicles are coming from this side. But example, this side vehicles want to go to this side. So it is not possible because there is a traffic jam. All roads are blocked. Okay, they can't move. This situation is called as a deadlock inside the system. Okay, so inside the system, how a deadlock is happening. Okay, and one more example also I can give. Example, this is a track, railway track. One train is coming from this side and one train is coming from this side, and there is only one track. So how this train cannot go to this side, and this train cannot go to this side. So they are waiting. So that waiting is called as a deadlock. Clear? So means here what happened? Actually, what is a deadlock means? All the process are blocked. All the process are blocked. Why? Because they are holding some resources. They are holding some resources and they are requesting for other resources. Okay, so in a deadlock situation, process will be blocked. Why? Because they are holding some resources and still they are requesting for a new resources which are held by another process. Okay, that situation is called as a deadlock. So here we have a diagram. Here I will explain. Here there is a deadlock or not. Okay, how many resources are there? 1 and 2. Resources are nothing but your printers, Xerox machines, different whatever devices you have. And if that device is shared among different different process, that will become a resource. So here how many resources we have? 2 resources we have. Resource 1, resource 2. How many process we have? Process 1 and process 2. 2 process we have. Okay, so here you see process 1 is requesting resource 2. Process 1 is requesting resource 2. Resource 2 is already assigned to a process 2. Okay, so whichever resource the process 1 is requesting, that resource is held by the process 2. And process 2 is waiting for the resource 1. It is holding the resource 2 and it is requesting for the resource 1 which is held by the process 1. Okay, so here process 1 will not complete the execution and process 2 also it will not complete execution, because whichever resource the process 1 want, that is held by the process 2. Whichever resource process 2 want, that is held by the process 1. So process 1 will not release the resource 2. Process 1 will not release the resource 1 that is needed by the process 2. And process 2 will not release the resource 2 which is requested by the process 1. So this is called as deadlock. In this situation, process 1 will not complete execution and process 2 will not complete execution, because they have to one of the process should release the resources. They are not releasing the resources, they are holding some resources and they are requesting for another resource which is held by the another process. This situation is called as a deadlock. Understood? Process. In a deadlock situation, process will never complete its execution. Process will blocked. Why? Because they are holding some resources. They are holding some resources and they are requesting for a new resources which are held by the another process. So that process will never release the resources and this process will never complete its execution. So this situation is called as a deadlock. Understood all of you? Process will never complete its execution because it is holding some resources and it is requesting for a new resources. That resources are held by the another process. Okay, so this circular is called as a deadlock. In this circular, process will never complete its execution. Clear all of you? Now we'll discuss the characteristics of deadlock. Okay, first you take down this. Now we'll discuss the characteristics of deadlock. Okay, so here we have a characteristics of a deadlock. Actually, before the characteristics of deadlock, I've not given the system model, deadlock system model. The system model is a simple system model. In the system model, we have three components, three factors actually: request, use, release. Okay, three things we have. Actually, what this system model is, in a deadlock, normally, whenever any process want to use any resource, first it should request the resource. Okay, understood? If any process want to use any resource, process should request the resource. If the resource is available, then the resource is given to the process. If the resource is not available, then the process need to wait till the resource is released by the other process. It is a simple model of the deadlock. Now to use, if the resource is given to a process, then what happened? The process will use the resources. Next, after using the resources, the process will release the resources. Clear? This is called the system model. The system model, we have three things. One is a request, use, and release. Request means the process need to request any resource before using it. If the resource is available with the processor, if the resource is available with the operating system, it will give the resources. If the resources are not available, then the process need to wait till the resource is released by the another process. Now come to the use. Use means after giving the resources, the process will use the resource. The next one is the release. What is the release? After using the resource, if the task is completed, if the execution is completed, then process need to release the resources so that another process can use the same resources. Clear? That is a system model. You can write it by your own also, no problem. Now come to the characteristics. What are the characteristics of this deadlock? Clear? Characteristics means how will you find out whether there is a deadlock and how will you get the deadlock? When you will get the deadlock? Okay, so first one is a mutual exclusion. Mutual exclusion already I have explained. When one process is using the resources, another process should not enter into that block. This already I have explained, mutual exclusion. So with the mutual exclusion also, process may enter into a deadlock. Example, here one resource is there, resource R1. Okay, and that resource is non-shareable. That resource is non-shareable. Non-shareable means if the resource is there, that resource is one process is using that resource. So if any other process is requesting for the resource, then that process need to wait. Okay, because that is a non-shareable. Clear? Understood? So in that, the process, whichever process is requesting for that resource, that process need to wait. If that waiting time is more, the process will wait, and it will lead to a deadlock, because that process is never completing its execution, so it will enter into a deadlock situation. Clear? Now, come to the hold and wait. Actually, what is a hold and wait? Hold and wait means, just now I have explained the deadlock situation where, for example, here process 1 is there, process 1 and process 2 is there. Okay, and the resource is there. P1 is requesting for a R2. Just now I have given R2 is held by the P2, and P2 is requesting for a R1, and R1 is held by the P1. Okay, so here hold and wait. A process are holding one resource. Here P1 is holding R1, and it is requesting for a R2. Okay, so P1 is already holding R1 and it is requesting for R2. Okay, this is called as a hold and wait. Here P1 is holded R1 and it is waiting for R2. So if more than one process is holding one resource and it is waiting for another resource which is held by the another process, in that case also a deadlock may happen. Deadlock may occur. Understood? Here if any process is holding some resource and waiting for another resource, then what happened? This one process will never release the resource, because this process execution may depend on that resource also. So what happened in this case? It will not release the resource, and it is requesting for another resource that is held by the another process that will never release the resources. This situation also, it may lead to deadlock. Understood? So that is why it is also one of the characteristics of deadlock. Clear all of you? Now come to a third one. What is the third one? No preemption. No preemption means, here actually what is a no preemption mean? Preemption already I have explained. Means one process is executing, another process is requesting with the higher priority. Then what happened? If the resource is released, then that is called as a preemption. But for any process, if we have given a non-preemption, if we are following a non-preemption, then the requesting process needs to wait for a long time. That situation is called as a no preemption. Example, process 1 is there and it is requesting for R1 that is holded by the P2. But this resource is non-preemptive. Non-preemptive means if any new process enters into a queue, or if any new process is requesting for that resources, even though the current process is not removed from that resource is not removed from the current process, that situation is called as a non-shareable, no preemption. Okay, here R1 is a no preemption means if any process is using a R1, okay, and a new process is requesting for R1. So what happened in this case? R1 is not taken out from P2 and it is not given to R1 because that resource is no preemption. No preemption means if one process is using that resource, another process cannot use that resource. If another process interrupted also, that resource is not given to that one because the resource is non-shareable, no preemptive situation, means no preemptive resource. So in whatever common resources are there, in that common resources, if any resource is no preemptive resource, non-preemptive resource, then in that situation means if more than one process is requesting for that resource, then that situation may lead to a deadlock. Clear? Here P1 is requesting for R1. R1 is held by the P2. Okay, this resource is a non-shareable. Non-shareable means only one process can use at a time. So what happened? P1 need to wait till the P2 completes its execution. Okay, so here P1 can wait for a long time. That is called as a non-preemptive. This situation may lead to a deadlock. Clear? Now, come to the fourth one, circular wait. Circular wait, just now already I have explained. Circular wait is also, it means circular wait also lead to a deadlock. In the basic picture I have given, resource 1 is there, P1 is there, next resource 2 is there, P2 is there. Okay, here R1 is held by the P1, P1 is requesting for R2, R2 is held by the P2 and P2 is requesting for the R1. So this is called as a circular wait. If there is a circular wait, then that may lead to a deadlock. So that is why it is also one of the characteristic of deadlock. Clear all of you? So in what situations you will get a deadlock? If it is a mutual exclusion, if any non-shareable resource is there, then in that situation also you may get a deadlock. Hold and wait. If the process are holding some resources and they are requesting for a new resources, in that situation also process will never complete its execution. That may also lead to a deadlock. Now come to the third one, no preemption. If any resource is a non-preemptive is there, in that case also the process need to wait for a long time. That situation also lead to a deadlock. Circular wait. Circular wait means if one process, first process is requesting for the resource which is held by the second process. Second process is requesting for the resource that is held by the third process. And the last process is requesting for the resource that is held by the first process. So this is called as a circular wait. In this case, the process will never complete its execution. So this situation also lead to a deadlock. Understand? You write down this 4 characteristics of deadlock. Okay? These are very, very important because next topics, whatever topics we are going to discuss, in each and every topic, one of this condition you will get. Because these are the basic characteristics of the deadlock. Okay? Write down this. Mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, circular wait. Here, one more characteristics of deadlock is the resource allocation graph. Here another characteristics of a deadlock is a resource allocation graph. Means using a resource allocation graph also you can find out whether there is a deadlock in the system or not. Okay, first I will explain the deadlock. I will explain the resource allocation graph. Actually, in the resource allocation graph, here we have 2 sets. Okay, this square nodes represents the resources. Okay, so set of resources are R1, R2, so on, Rn. Okay, so resource set here is nothing but the set which contains the number of resources. Okay, now come to the second set, process set. This circles are nothing but the process. So here P1, P2, so on, Pn. Okay, so in this graph, a set of resources are represented by set of R1, R2, so on, Rn, which are nothing but the squares, and inside this we have a small dots. What this small dots represents? The number of instances. Example here, resource, this is a keyboard and this is a mouse, example, and these are the printers and this is Xerox machine, example. So how many keyboards we have? Only one keyboard, because here we have only one dot. Okay, and next here, how many mouse we have? One mouse. So that is why here the dot is only 1. Now 1, 2, 3. How many printers we have? 3 printers. And next here how many Xerox machines we have? 2. Because here we have 2 dots. Okay. So here the resources is nothing but this is the square boxes, square nodes, which contains the dots inside. Okay, what that dots represents the number of instances of that resource type. Clear? Now, here the set R1 represents the number of resources in the graph, in the resource allocation graph. The next one is one more set is there, that is a process set, the circles. Okay, nothing but the P1, P2, so on, Pn, number of process. Clear? Now, here, if any process is requesting for a resource, example P1 is requesting R1. So there is a direct edge Pi to Rj, means P1 is requesting Rj. There is a direct edge from Pi to Rj. Here Pi is nothing but the process and Rj is nothing but the resource. So the process Pi is requesting for Rj. This is called as a direct, this is called as a requesting edge. Requesting edge. If any process is requesting for any resource, then there is a direct edge from the process to the resource. Process name to the resource. Next, this is called as a requesting edge, and this is also requesting edge. And here the P3 is not requesting, you can get this. Now, one more is there, that is the assignment edge. Assignment edge. What is the assignment edge is? For example, if the process is requesting for a resource and that resource is allocated to that process, that resource is given to that process, then that is called as a, that is also directed through the edge, that is called as a assignment edge. Here the resource is there. This resource is allocated to the process P2. Okay, then how will you give Rj to P2? Means what? Pi. Example. Then what happened? This resource is allocated to this process. This is called as an assignment edge. Okay. So here how many components we have? 4. One is a resource. The second one is a process. The third one is a requesting edge. And the third one is a assignment edge. Okay. So here this set represents the number of resources available in the graph, and this set represents the number of process available in the graph. How many edges we have? 2 edges. One is a requesting edge and the second one is a assignment edge. What is a requesting edge? If any process is requesting for any resource, then this is called as a requesting edge. Okay. If any resource is allocated to the any process, that is called as a assignment edge. It's like this. Clear all of you? Now here first you write down this, you draw this graph. I will explain the different sets here. Okay, means how we'll identify a deadlock in this. Means if there is a deadlock in the graph or not, how will you identify? That I will explain. First you take down this. Now, using the resource allocation graph, you can decide whether there is a deadlock in the system or not. Means you need to check the cycle Already I have said circular weight. Circular weight, then you can say that there is a deadlock. Okay, so you need to check whether there is any cycle or not. Example here, P1 is requesting R1 and R1 is held by the P2 and P2 is requesting R3. Okay, so example, if P1 is requesting R1, R1 is held by the P2 and P2 is requesting R3. Okay, but if the same resource in this graph, if P2 is requesting for a R2, if P2 is requesting for the R2 and only one instance is there, example, then that may lead to a deadlock. But there is a cycle. So if there is a cycle, then you can say that there is a deadlock. Clear? So in the previous example also I have given P1 is requesting for R1, R1 is held by the P2 and P2 is requesting for the R2 and R2 is held by the P1. Example. Then that situation is called as a deadlock. Means if there is a cycle or any one of that four conditions. First four conditions I have explained. Mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, circular weight. So if any one of that condition is there in the graph, then you can say that there is a deadlock inside this graph, in the resource allocation graph. But in this, there is no deadlock. Why? Because P1 is requesting for the R1. R1 is held by the P2. P2 is requesting for the R3 and R3 is held by the P3. But this P3 is not, again is requesting for any resource available here. So there is no cycle. Okay, so this P3 is, if P3 is requesting for the R1, R2, then it may lead to a cycle. Okay, but here there is no cycle. So this system is not in a deadlock. Clear? So if you want to check, if you want to convert this graph into a deadlock, then you can see that here one instance is there. P1 is requesting for R1, R1 is held by the P2, P2 is requesting for the R3, R3 is held by the P1 and P1 is requesting for P3 is requesting for R2. Then this is called as a deadlock. Clear? Because there is a circular weight. Clear? P1 is requesting for R1, R1 is held by the P2, P2 is requesting for R3, R3 is held by the P3, P3 is requesting for the R2, which is held by the P1. So this is called as a deadlock. So resource allocation graph is also one of the method. Using that method, you can decide whether there is a deadlock in the situation, in the system or not. Means if you find any one of that four conditions, mutual exclusion, hold and wait, circular weight and no preemption in the resource allocation graph, then you can say that that graph is contains, the system is contains the deadlock. Clear? So you can check whether there is a deadlock in the system or not by using a resource allocation graph also. And one more thing is, example here, P1 is requesting for a R1. If R1 is assigned to a P1, example, then the requesting edge is converted into the assignment edge. That property is also available in the resource allocation graph. Okay, so based on two things, you can decide whether there is a deadlock or not. The first one is the four necessary conditions I have given. Necessary conditions, and the second one is a resource allocation graph. Okay, there are two methods. Using the two methods, you can decide whether there is a deadlock inside the system or not. Okay, in the first condition, four things are given, four conditions are given. In the second condition, I have given a resource allocation graph. So these two will come under the deadlock characteristics. Okay, so this is about today's class. I hope you all understood. This is very, very important because the whole chapter depends on these two only. That four conditions and this resource allocation graph. For each and every situation, you need to draw the resource allocation graph. Okay, means you need to decide whether there is a deadlock or not. If there is a deadlock, how to prevent this? How to handle that? Deadlock methods, handling methods we have. So whole chapter is based on this today's class only. Okay, means first you need to find out the deadlock. How will you find out that four conditions? Or you can use a resource allocation graph. If any one of that four condition is there in that system, then that system is in a deadlock. Or you can easy method is a resource allocation graph. Just you need to draw the graph and you need to check whether there is a cycle in that or not. If there is a cycle in that, then blindly you can say that it is a deadlock. Okay, I hope you all understood. We'll continue in the next class.